Always you will find some people who are practicing part of that deen the way the Sahaba used to practice the right way. Always. There will never be, unless when the day of judgment, when Allah wants to call for resurrection, for the doomsday, that's the only time where you will not find anybody. So now the fourth means of protection, even recitation. So being in text, being recited, being understood, being practiced. All of these together, that's what's inna nahnu nazzalna adh-dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. Also the Prophet ﷺ said, and every now and on, every 100 years, Allah will send somebody to renew the matter of the deens. I mean, to bring it back to its originality and remove all the impurities or what other people mix it with culture. People, that's what they call it today, what? Awakening. What is awakening? Really, what's awakening? Is it new deen? No. It's some people trying to separate culture from the religion. Muslims are good, and they really go, some of them practice their deen, but they mix it with their culture. The awakening is just say, oh yeah, brother, sister, this is something, this is the deen and this is the culture. Don't raise them to the same level. Or don't erase your culture, but not raise them to the same level, not mix them. So that is also ways. So there are ways, I can remember, but there are many, many, many ways, because this is the word of Allah. And it has to be true all the time, not just true, fully, not partially. Means this book is guarded fully all the time, because this is, who is doing it? Allah. And if you are really looking how to recite the Quran the way Jibril did, you will find it. If you are looking to understand the Quran the way Sahaba did, you will find it. If you are looking to practice the deen the Sahaba did, you will find it all the time. It is guaranteed. And that is what is it, how preserve the Quran. Again, the only sad part is that this is our advantage. Then the others don't think they are bad. They wish to have something like that. Some Christians, they really wish to have Quran like ours. That is not just a book. No, books, meaning and understanding and practicing and availability and accessibility all the time. They wish. They are not all bad and evil. They wish they have something like that. We have it, we do not appreciate that. We have it that way, we don't value it. Is that clear? So that is number 9. And this is the first example how we said Surah is about preservation of the deen, of the believers and the Quran. This is the first example of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserving His book. Now, the last meaning of preservation is what? You could go, okay, the text is there, the recitation is there, the meaning is there, the practice is there. Life has changed and applicability has become not applicable. Life progressed. Technology, space, discovery, all of these things to the point where it become inapplicable. Even that Allah, I preserve it, that it will be applicable in every time and every spot on earth. No matter how much life changed, from donkey to rockets and airplanes, but still the Quran applicable. How can you, how, that's why it is in it's not in our capacity to preserve anything like that. You know, when we make something, we know it. When the time change, when life will change, conditions change, you got to change it. But this is the book of Allah. Remember when, who's the president signed the Constitution of the United States? Thomas Jefferson or Abraham Lincoln? Huh? Who?
Jefferson wrote it, or the Declaration of Independence.
What he said, this statement is there, but people don't look at it. He said, by signing this document, the Constitution of the United States, we do not, this is what he said exactly, we do not mean the adult must wear the boy jacket. You know what I mean? Life is going to change. And many of these will not become applicable. So we are not going to say, still you're already adult, you have to wear the jacket of the boy. He can't. There are things must be changed. That's what he's saying, that we can preserve it only for that far. But life will change and demand some of it to be changed. Or we have to make it flexible. But still, adults cannot wear the boy jacket. But they are grown. Yeah, when I was in his age, yeah, I can wear it. This is not applicable to the Quran. Quran is the word of Allah. He knows, and that's why He also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, preserve it, that is applicable with all changes until the day of judgment. And that's why it is the final book. So we get how many form of protecting the Quran or preserving the Quran? How many?
I didn't number them.
Oh my God. You really have to, this one has to be retained. Now more than 4. Okay.
Sunnah.
Text.
Yeah, text, Sunnah.
Recitation. No, you're mixing the means and the... Okay. Sunnah to preserve. Difference in scholar to preserve. Order good and forbid bad to preserve. Practicing or renewal is to preserve. But what we preserve? Preserve the text, the recitation, the meaning, the practice, and the applicability all the time, all places, by all this means. All right? Is that okay?
No.
All right. So now let's move to next one. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مِن قَبْلِكَ فِي شِيَعِ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَمَا يَأْتِيهِم مِّن رَّسُولٍ إِلَّا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ كَذَلِكَ نَسْلُكُهُ فِي قُلُوبِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِهِ وَقَدْ خَلَتْ سُنَّةُ الْأَوَّلِينَ ولو فتحنا عليهم بابا من السماء فظلوا فيه يعرجون لقالوا إنما سكرت أبصارنا بل نحن قوم مسحورون. Till 15 example that Allah has, these things went to the previous people, but let me add one point, that from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that this means of preservation made it easy for Muslims anytime to go back to the guidance of Allah and His Messenger. Straight, pure. They are not going to get lost. They are not going to get so much difficult to what the Prophet said, what the Prophet did, or what the Quran means. It's always there and it is accessible and available to anybody. And Muslims, even when they can in practice deviate from the right practice, but easy to bring them back, because the standards are known, the meaning is known, the text is known easy. This is impossible for any other ummah, any other nations, and any other religion. It's impossible to bring them back to the originality. How? How can you bring them to the teaching of Jesus? Is there a way you can bring Christian to the teaching of Jesus?
Not the true teaching.
Except the Quran.
Yeah,
Only the Quran. That's the only thing. But through their way, no. For us, if somebody says, okay, you Muslims stay away, I am going to first investigate if this is the book of Allah and it is authentic and it is applicable, and then I will follow it. They can do all that research, find it is the book of Allah and it is authentic and the meaning is this way, and can follow it. Someone third party, neutral, someone not among Muslims, This is not available in any other place. Okay, even Buddha. I want to take people exactly to the teachings, original teaching of Buddha. How can I do it? Huh? Absolutely not. Any other religion or any other philosophy, there have no way for humanity to take it back to its originality. In Islam, it's there, it's available, and it is authentic. So now, the second comments, وَلَقَدْ telling to the Prophet, because we said Prophet ﷺ was struck by telling him, you are Majnoon. Okay, if somebody, you are discuss with him in issue and he said you are Majnoon, how are you going to discuss with him? Whenever you open your mouth, you are Majnoon. Why you waste my point? I don't want to discuss any idea. First, prove to me that you are not Majnoon, and then we can discuss the idea. So that's how they block the way. So Allah said to the Prophet to comfort him, to enlighten him, to open his horizons, how to see things. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ فِي شِيَعِ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَمَا يَأْتِيهِمْ مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ كَذَلِكَ نَسْلُكُهُ فِي قُلُوبِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِهِ وَقَدْ خَلَتْ سُنَّةُ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَلَوْ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَابًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ فَظَلُّوا فِيهِ يَعْرُجُونَ لَقَالُوا إِنَّمَا سُكِّرَتْ أَبْصَارُنَا بَلْ نَحْنُ قَوْمٌ مَسْحُورُونَ. Okay, from 10 to 15.
Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent messengers before you, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, amongst the sects communities of old, and never came a messenger to them, but they did mock at him. Thus does Allah let polytheism, disbelief, enter the hearts of the mujrimun, the disbelievers, the polytheists, because of their mocking at the messengers. They would not believe in it, the Quran, and already the example of Allah's punishment of the ancients, those who came before us, who disbelieve, has gone forth. And even if Allah opened to them a gate from the heaven, they were to keep on ascending thereto all the day long. They would surely say in the evening, our eyes have been as if dazzled. We have not seen any angel or the heaven. Nay, we are a people lost, bewitched.
Okay. This is basically Allah is comforting the Prophet ﷺ, but the verse number 11 is the most significant one related to us. وَمَا يَأْتِيهِمْ مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ.
And never came a message to them, but they did mock at him.
What do you expect? You're going to face it. You have to be prepared that you are going to be mocked. Okay, you have to. He said, never a prophet came to any nation that it was mocked and demonized and humiliated and told crazy. He said, this is the way. No, mujrimun. There are among mankind criminals who their mind doesn't function. And that's how they are going to do it. You better prepare and take it. Okay? وَمَا يَأْتِيهِمْ مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ كَذَلِكَ, Allah said, mujrimun. This is how the Quran penetrates the heart of the believers, as if it is absolutely unbelievers. The kafir, the mujrim, the criminals. That is the way it click to their heart or to their mind, is unacceptable, meaningless. لا يؤمنون به. Basically, they will not believe in it. لا يؤمنون به. The criminals and those who mock you are not going to believe in it. And Allah said, this is why I punished them. وَقَدْ خَلَتْ سُنَّةُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. This is why I have to uproot them, because they are a standing block in your way. This, wherever you go, is there's a majnoon. You get to remove that person, because otherwise he is going not let you communicate to the rest of the ummah. Okay, that is وَقَدْ خَلَتْ سُنَّةُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. And Allah said, if He opened the gates for them to ascend in heaven, still they will say we were what? We were mashhurun. We were caught by magic, and our eyes is dysfunctional, but it is not the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are probably Ahmad Didat debated whatever his name, yeah, and you can up today Jimmy Swaggart is still drink and sing and preach. I mean, you see, there are 80,000 in the stadium, and he just basically sing and drink and tell them God told him, God told him. He wasn't able. So these are the kind of people. Allah said, if you open the gate to heaven and let them ascend, they are going to say what? Our eyes is dysfunctional and we are hit by magic. But there is nothing to lead them to believe. There are some, and you got to understand, you should not waste time with these people. I mean, Pat Robertson, you think he can open his head and mind to understand Islam? Or understand even the truth? I mean, he has been lately saying so crazy things. Even the Christians, they start mocking him because of things he says is really make no sense. So there are those, and Allah has called them mujrimun. Allah has called them, they mock, the sign of them they mock. Anybody, and instead of somebody either mocking you or telling you are crazy, they are not truth searcher. They don't have the mental capability to look for logic and evidence and search and understand the reason. They don't have that capability, and that's why they block the door and they say it's magic or it is you are crazy, and they mock and humiliate. They are either ignorant or they don't have the mental capability to search and argue logically, scientifically, and rationalize the talk and argument. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praise those who resort to rational and argument rational. Even if they are kafir, the argument rational appreciated. The rational argument is appreciated because it will lead one day to the right way. And those who say crazy, magic, and mock you, these are lacking the rational ability to reason, search and argue. Just leave them alone. أعرض عن المشركين. Turn your face away and keep going. Okay, so that is where we are. 15 inshallah next time. Now we finish the second two issues in the surah. The warning, and then the second one is we took an example how Allah preserved His book, and then we'll see examples how Allah preserved the believers. But before that, Allah will give us how He preserved the universe. If you think preserving the book is something, Allah preserved the universe, the whole science and the functionalities of the universe also is preserved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next chapter is going to be about that, the preservation of His creation in this non-human creation. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. If you need, and we have 5 minutes. You want to say something, comment, questions, discussion, correction.
No, I'm fine.
Brother Bassam. What does it mean, Bassam?
I was thinking of something, Sheikh.
You didn't answer the question.
You didn't answer the question. What does it mean, Bassam?